Hello ladies, this is Miss E here. So I thought that I would make a video for you guys just going through everything that you need to know and be able to do for the exam. So what I'm going to do is I've printed out the material that we've covered so far this year, and obviously the material that's going to be in your exam. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a brief recap summary explaining everything again, and then I'm also going to go through the activities that you guys had to complete for marks. So I'm going to actually do those so you can see how I'll calculate them, and then you know, at least for the exam, whether you did it right or not for the assignment. It doesn't matter because you'll have the correct answers. Okay, so first off, I just have some manuscript paper because I'll do some calculations and stuff. So remember, the first thing that we always do is draw our piano. Okay, so you guys know this. Sorry, I'm just keep on looking upstairs here by my phone to check that I'm in the frame. Okay, so how do we draw the piano? We draw a big block like this. Okay, I expect you all to do this in your exam, just on a spare piece of paper. I'll double check with Mr. Smith if you'll have a spare piece. If not, it doesn't matter. Just draw it on the back of one of your question papers. Okay, so big block, whole bunch of lines. A lot of you always ask me how many. It does not matter. You just need it big enough so that you can see a couple of octaves, or at least one or two. Okay, so it doesn't matter because the piano goes on and on. This is just for your own ease. Okay, then first line, you draw your 2 donkey ears, skip a line. You draw 3 black notes, skip a line, 2 black notes, skip a line, 3 black notes, and so on and so forth. Okay, and then I'm just going to add on here so that I finish my 2 donkey ears. Okay, so there's my piano. Now I need to figure out what the notes are. So my step now is to find the 2 donkey ears. Okay, so for example, here's my 2 donkey ears over here. And then the first white note to the left of my first donkey ear is C. Okay, here's donkey ears over here. First note to the left is C. Over here, C. And then we just fill in the notes. So remember, goes from A to G. So C, D, E, F, G, A. Okay, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. B, C, D, and so on and so forth. Okay. Step 1, done. I've got my piano. I'm just going to put this aside until I need it. Okay, so first thing that you guys need to go over and make sure that this is solidified in your brain is how to figure out the note names. Okay, if you can't do this, then you can't do any of the other stuff, because a lot of the stuff is based on the note names of the clefs. Okay, so how do we do this? We've got our rhymes. Okay, so if you have a look in the workbook that's uploaded on Teams, page 11, we've got an example here. So we've got our stave over here. Remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. And we've got our clef over here. So this is a treble clef. Okay, treble clef. This is a bass clef. Okay, so as you can see, here are the letters of the lines of the treble clef. Every good boy drinks Fanta. So on the line, every good boy drinks Fanta. Okay, you need to learn that off by heart. So if I have a note on this line over here, okay, you need to be able to tell me what the name of that note is. And because of our rhyme, I'm going to go, okay, this is my line over here. Every good boy drinks. That's a D note, okay. And then similarly for the spaces, we've got the word face, F-A-C-E. Just something that you need to learn off by heart. You have to know. Now remember, treble clef is different to the bass clef. So Mr. Smith has given you the rhymes for the treble clef, and then he's given you different rhymes for the bass clef. Same thing, you learn it off by heart. Granny buys donuts for all, and all cows eat grass. So this is for the lines, this is for the spaces. Okay, so lines over here, spaces over here, same thing here, lines, spaces. Okay, now if you have a look over here, this is just for your own understanding. We've got the names of the lines and we've got the names of the spaces. So I've got my Every Good Boy Drinks Fanta, and remember I add on Every Good Boy Drinks Fanta and Coke. Okay, that's just for your ledger lines. Now, in the spaces, I'm going to draw it over here, we've got F, A, C, E, right? Because of the spaces there. So, if I'm going to draw it over here again, F, A, C, E. I hope you can all see that. Okay, F, A, C, E. Now look, I've got every on the line, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, and so on and so forth. So if I do it over here, I've got my stave here. I'm going to draw a treble clef. Okay. Now remember, the first line is an E because it's every, and then it's G, good, boy, drinks, Fanta, and Coke. Okay. And then in the space, I've got F, A, C, E. Okay. Every Good Boy Drinks Fanta and Coke, F, A, C, E. But now look here, from line to space to line to space, it goes up in the alphabet. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. So then this is going to be G because of the alphabet, remember. E, F, G, and then we start again, just like our piano. A, and then in the space, B, C, in the space, D, and it just goes on and on and on and on. Okay. Now, for the, sorry about that. Okay, for the bass clef, Mr. Smith has given you different rhymes. Granny buys donuts for all cows eat grass. Okay. Another thing that you can do, instead of learning other rhymes, okay, I'm going to end this off over here. I'm going to put my bass clef now. So now, instead of doing the new rhyme, what you could do, this is just a suggestion, so it's up to you guys. What works for you, do that. Okay. I've got my bass clef over here and I've got my rhymes that I use for the treble clef. Now, for the bass clef, everything is exactly the same except I'm going to move it one down. Okay, so instead of starting on this line, because it's the bass clef, I'm going to start on this line. Okay, that's a ledger line. So now, same thing. Every good boy drinks Fanta and Coke. Okay, because my E is one line down. So naturally my face is going to be one space down. So instead of putting the F over here, I'm going to put it one below. So now I've got F, A, C, E. Do you understand what I've just done? I've taken this and I've moved everything one down. Okay, but now what about this? So remember, it works like the alphabet. I've got the E over here, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So we're working line, space, line, space, line, space. Okay. If you have a look over here, I've got F, A, C, E. Okay. But now, think about our other rhyme again, every good boy. So you can see how they're interchangeable. This is just something that you're going to have to learn off by heart, okay? So, pick and choose. These are for the treble clef, the rhymes. If you would prefer to learn the other ones for the bass clef, that's fine. Otherwise, you learn this and remember that a bass clef is one step down. Okay. So, over the page, that was page 11 in the workbook, we've got page 12. Okay. So, it says, write down the letter names of the following notes on the spaces provided. Okay, this is an example of how this kind of thing would be tested. So, first thing we look at, it's a treble clef. So I know I'm going to use Every Good Boy Drinks Fanta and Coke and F-A-C-E for the spaces. Okay, so I have to now figure out what the name of that note is. So, can you see that this is on a line? Okay. So I know that I'm going to use my line rhyme, which is Every Good boy drinks. I'm going to do it again. Every good boy drinks. So therefore, this is a D. Okay. Let's look at the next one. The next one is in a space. Can you see that? So I'm going to use my space rhyme for the treble clef, which is face, F-A-C-E. F-A. Therefore, the answer is A. Okay, let's look at the bass clef. So you can either use this one, okay? So the first thing to notice, is it on a line or a space? Okay, this first one is on a line. So if I use this rhyme, I've got Granny buys donuts. Granny buys donuts. Or if I do it the other way, I use the same rhyme, I just move it one down. Every good boy drinks. Okay, let's look at the next one. If I use this rhyme, all cows eat grass, I know that the first space is all, so therefore it's A. If I do it the other way, and I move everything down, I've got F-A, F-A-C-E, because it's face, F-A. Okay, so what I would suggest now is that you guys pause the video here, you quickly work these out, okay, on your own, just to make sure that you understand. If you know how to do this, then that's free marks in your test. Really, guys, you've got to get this down because that's super, super easy. So pause it now, fill them all in, and then unpause it, and then I'm going to fill them in. Okay, so I will do that now. Right, so let's fill these in. So we're working with the treble clef. Okay, so this is a line. So I'm going to go every good. Therefore, it's a G. This is on a line. Every good boy drinks Fanta. This is in a space. So F-A-C-E. This is on a line, and it's the first line, which is every. That's also an E. Okay, this is on a space. F-A-C. Okay, space. F, because it's the first space. Okay, so now, look here. What is this line over here? The first line is E. Okay, but now remember, it works like the alphabet. So if you look at your piano, okay, we've got E over here. If I'm going up, I'm going up, right? So what's the next note up from E on your piano? It's F. What's the next note down? It's D. Okay, so this is going to be D. Because if I've got D, E, F. Okay, what is this one? So F, A, C, E. Okay, this space over here is E. Okay, what's the next line up? If this is E, the next one is F. Okay, and then what's the next note up from F? G. Okay, this one is on a line. Every good boy. Okay, let's work with the bass clef. So I am going to work this out using the same rhyme that I do for the treble clef, except I'm just going to move everything one down. Okay, right. So bass clef, moving everything down. This is on a space. So I'm going to go F, A, C, E. Okay, space. F, A, C, E. Okay, E is the same as every good boy. Every good. That's a G. Okay, this is a line. So I'm going to go every good. Because remember, we're moving it down. This is on a space. F, A, C. This is also on a space. F, A, C, E. And E stands for every good boy. Every good boy. Okay, this is a line. Every good boy drinks Fanta. This is on a space. F-A. F. This is a line. Every good boy drinks Fanta and. Because it's Fanta and Coke. Okay, so that's how you would be tested on that. Let's look at the next one. It says, draw the following notes in the respective bars using semibreves. Now remember, semibreves look like this. Okay, so it says draw the following notes on the respective bars using semibreves. So this says I want an E and I want it on a line. And remember, we're working with the treble clef. Okay, so E on a line. So what is our line rhyme? Every good boy drinks Fanta and Coke. Okay, so the first line here is E. So I'm going to put my semi-breve on the E note, and that's a line. Okay, next one is B on a line. So I'm going to use my line rhyme. And we're in the treble clef, so we start with this line here. Every good boy. So this line is B. Okay, we want G on a line. Every good, there you go, there's your G. We want an E in a space, so I'm going to use my space rhyme. F-A-C-E. E on a space. Once again, every. Okay, same thing, except now we're working with the bass clef. Okay, so I'm going to move everything one down. So we want E on a space. Okay, so instead of starting here because of the treble clef, we're starting here because of the bass clef. So I've got F-A-C-E. G on a line. So I start my line over here. Remember, every good. Okay, D on a line. Every good boy drinks. A on a line. Every good boy drinks Fanta and. B in a space. So we've got F-A-C-E, and remember E is also every good boy. So in the space, every good boy. Okay, let's move on. I will give you guys the page numbers that you need to go through. Okay, so here is just some more practice. Write the letter names of the following notes given. Same thing as what we've just done. And then it says draw the corresponding clefs to the following notes. So if I assumed that this was treble clef and I'm working with the space, it would have been F-A-C. Can you see that this is named E, but if I was a treble clef, it would have been F-A-C. So therefore it must be the bass clef. So you're going to draw that in. If I double check it, because it's the bass clef, I move everything one down. So I'm going to go F in this space down here, F-A-C-E, and they've named it E. Okay, let's look at this one. Let's say we're assuming it's treble clef. I'm going to double check. Every good boy. Can you see how they've named that B? It's on the line. Every good boy, so therefore it's treble clef. Okay, so on and so forth. Okay, drawing the notes. So basically this is just discussing the direction of your stem. So remember, these are the stems, okay? So the general rule of thumb, on our stave we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines, okay? So on the third line, this is halfway, okay? So if the note head, which is this little circle thing, is above the halfway line, we're going to put the stem down. And if the note is the head is below the halfway line, we put the stem up. Okay, so just take note of that, and also just have a look at which side you put your stem. So if it's going down, it's on the left side of the note head. If it's going up, it's on the right hand side of the note head. Okay, same thing applies for the semiquavers and the quavers. Just go over that. Okay, next thing we're looking at is intervals. Right, so an interval is the distance between two notes. Intervals are always counted from the lower note to the higher one, with the lower note being counted as an interval of the first. Okay. Intervals come in different qualities and size. If the notes are sounded successively, it is a melodic interval. Okay. If sounded simultaneously, meaning at the same time, then it is a harmonic interval. Okay, take note of that. Then we have an example here. Remember, the shortest distance between two notes is a semitone. So from A to A sharp, that's one semitone. But from A to B is two semitones, because it's 1, 2. Or two semitones are also known as a tone or a whole tone. Okay. Over here is an example of all the different intervals that we have. So a note played at the same time, the same note is unison, it's just one. Okay, one note up. So now remember, intervals, we're talking about the letter names, not the semitones or the tones. If I'm asking you about an interval, I'm asking you about the letter names, okay? So for example, from A to B would be an interval of a second because it's A, B, right? But the semitones, it's 2 semitones or 1 tone. So don't get confused between tones and semitones and intervals. I will specify whether I'm referring to intervals or semitones and tones, okay? But you would have encountered that in your interval assignment that you had to do. Okay, more on intervals. This is speaking about major, minor, augmented, diminished. You don't need to stress about that for this exam, okay? Okay, this is not really relevant to us right now. Okay, chromatic notes. So chromatic basically means moving from one note to the next without leaving any gaps. Okay, so if you look at our piano, if I go, because remember, if we go up the piano, we're making it sharper or higher. Okay, you need to know this. And if we're going down the piano, we're flattening the notes and making them lower. Okay, can you all see that? Cool. So chromatic notes means one to the next, to the next, to the next. We're not skipping any notes. So it says, let's first look at how a keyboard is designed in order to have a clear picture of the difference between tones and semitones. Notice that the white keys on the keyboard are named according to the first 7 letters of the alphabet, blah, 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 blah. We know all of this. Okay. Also notice that the black keys have 2 names, example F sharp and G flat. It is because in this instance, F sharp and G flat direct you to the same chromatic notes. These are called enharmonics. Okay, you guys know this. So for example, I look at my piano and I say to you, play an F sharp. Okay, so here's F and I want a sharp, so I'm going to go higher to the next one. That's this black note over here. Okay, F sharp. And then I say to you, right, play G flat. You're going to find G and you're going to flatten it. So can you see how F sharp and G flat are the same note? Therefore, F sharp and G flat are enharmonic. Okay. So, semitones. Semitone is the smallest distance between any 2 neighboring keys on the keyboard. Neighboring meaning they are right next to each other. Okay, so for example, B flat and B are neighboring notes because they're directly next to each other on the piano. Okay, a whole tone is made up of 2 semitones. On the keyboard, a whole tone is any 2 keys with 1 key, white or black, in between. Example, there is a tone between C and D. Okay, so for example, here is C, 1, 2. Okay, F sharp and G. Sorry, F sharp and G sharp. So this is F sharp here. So it would be 1 and 2. Okay, and for example, between B flat and C. So let's find B flat on our piano. Here is B flat and here is C. So it's from B flat, we've got 1 semitone. From B to C, we've got another semitone. Therefore, from B flat to C is 2 semitones because it's 1, 2. Okay. So this is the exercise that you guys had to complete between or based on intervals. So I'm going to go through this with you now. I'm going to quickly fill it in. So very important that I have my piano here because that's how I work it out. Okay, so it says how many semitones. Now this is important. I asked for semitones. Yes, a tone is 2 semitones, but if you wrote 1 here and the answer was 2, it's wrong because I'm asking you for semitones. Okay, how many semitones exist between the following intervals? So the first thing I have to figure out is my note names. So we do this based on our rhymes. So this is in a space. I've got F, A, C, but there's an accidental. That's a sharp. Therefore, I've got C sharp. Okay, and my next one is in a line. Every good boy drinks, D. Okay, so now I know that I've got C to D. C sharp, sorry, to D. So I go to my piano and I find C sharp. Here is C sharp. Okay, the next note is D. Therefore, I have one semitone in between them because they're right next to each other. C sharp to D. Therefore, my answer is 1. Okay, next one. I'm going to go down. All right, I've got an E flat because I went F, A, C, E. Okay, but there's a flat there, so it's going to be E flat. Okay, what is that next one? Every good boy drinks Fanta. That's an F. So I go to my piano. Here is E flat. Okay, to F. 1, 2. 2 semitones. Okay, next one. F, A flat because it's got a flat sound. Okay, A flat to every good boy. B. Okay, A flat to B is 1 semitone. Sorry, I've made a mistake here. A flat. Remember, flat is this way. Okay, so from A flat to B, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 semitones. So this is 3 semitones. Okay, my mistake. Then this first space is F, because remember these are all treble clef, eh? Okay, F, and this is in a line, every good. So F to G. Here's my F. 1, 2. Okay, next one, that's an F. That's a G. Okay, same thing. 2. This is a D sharp to E sharp. Okay, find D sharp. Here's D sharp, because remember sharp is higher. It's this way. I hope I'm in the frame. Okay. D sharp to E sharp. And now remember, E sharp is the same as F. Okay. D sharp, we go 1, 2. So the answer is 2. Okay. That's a C. Every good boy drinks. D flat. C to D flat. Okay. So this is D flat, this is C. So C to D flat is 1 semitone. Okay. This is an E flat and that is an F. E flat to F, 1, 2. Okay. Next one. Every good boy drinks. There's a D and that is an E flat. Okay. D to E flat, that's E flat, that's D, so it's 1. Okay. Every good boy drinks Fanta. F flat to G, because it's F, A, C, E, good. Okay. F flat is E, because F is flattened down, E to G, which is over here. Okay, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Okay. Every good, that's a G, F, A. Okay, G to A, here's a G, here's an A, so I'm going to go 1, 2. My answer's 2. Okay, every good boy drinks, that's a D. This is an E sharp. Okay, D to E sharp. Here is E sharp, because remember E sharp and higher goes 1 up to F. Okay, E sharp, so D. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. My answer is 3. Okay, next one. Is it true to say that the shortest distance between 2 adjacent keys is 1 tone? No. The answer is no. Because why? 1 tone is made up of 2 semitones. Therefore, the shortest distance is a semitone. Okay. How many tones or semitones exist between these intervals? So, this is exactly the same as what I've just done up here, except I've just made it a bit easier for you because I've written the notes out. So, exactly the same thing. E to F sharp. I'll go to my piano. Here's E, here's F sharp. So it is 1, 2. 2 semitones or 1 tone. Okay? E to G sharp. Here's my E, here's my G sharp. Okay, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is 4 semitones or 2 tones. Okay, B flat to C. Here's B flat over here. Okay, to C. So I'm going to go 1, 2. 2 semitones or 1 tone. Okay, B flat to C sharp. Here's B flat, here's C sharp. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. 3 semitones. Or you could say 1.5 tones, but that's not really, doesn't really make sense. This is more clear. Okay, doesn't matter if you said that, but that's preferred. Okay, let's move over. G flat to A flat. Okay, G flat Sorry, that's a C, if that's not clear. Okay, G flat is over here, to A flat, which is over here. Okay, so I'm going, this is A flat, this is G flat. So I'm going from here to here, so it's 1, 2. 2 semitones or 1 tone. Okay, C to E flat. Here's C, here's E flat. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Okay, 3 semitones. A to C sharp. Here's A, here's C sharp. That's quite a big one. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 semitones or 2 tones. Okay, C to G. Now remember, we always move from the first letter name to the second letter name. You can't do it this way because it'll be wrong. Okay, first letter name to second letter name, just like I've done for all of them. So this is C to G. So here's C, here's G. That's going to be big, right? So from C to G, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 semitones. Okay, now enharmonics. So, like I explained earlier, an enharmonic is basically just a different name for the same note. So the enharmonic of F sharp, I found F sharp. What is the same note? What is the same note but with a different note name? So this is F sharp is the same as G flat. Okay, G sharp is the same as A flat. Okay, B flat is the same as A sharp. Okay, D sharp is the same as E flat. A flat, which is here, is the same as G sharp. Okay, E flat is the same as D sharp. C sharp is the same as D flat. And G flat is the same as F sharp. All right. So that's the memo for your interval assignment. Okay, next thing, notes and rest values. Okay, this is super simple. You guys, I'm sure, have a grip on this, so I'm going to go over it super quick. Okay, these are the 4 most basic, most common notes that we have. Okay, semibreve, minim, crotchets, quaver, or you can use the whole, half, quarter, or eighth. Okay, important to remember the fractions. So this is 1. You divide 1 in half and you get a half. Okay, you get 2 halves, obviously, because 2 halves make 1 whole. You divide a half in half and you get a quarter, or 2 quarters, because 2 quarters make a half. Okay, you divide a quarter, you get 2 eighths, like that. And you can carry on to 16ths, to 32nds, etc, etc, etc. And each time you would just be adding flags. Okay, but you guys know this. Right, let's have a look here. How many minims are in a semibreve? So we know that this is a semibreve and this is minims. And a minim is a half, okay? And 2 halves make 1 whole. So 2 minims add up to give you 1 semibreve. How many crotchets are in a semibreve? So a crotchet is the same as a quarter note, okay? So how many of these fit into that? So 1 half or 1 quarter, if you add how many quarters to get a semibreve? 4 quarters would make 1 whole. 1, 2, 3, 4, those add up to give me that. Therefore, there are 4 crotchets in 1 semibreve. How many crotchets are in a minim? Okay, crotchets, here's a minim. A minim is a half. You divide that in half, you get 2 quarters. You add 2 quarters together and you get 1 half. Therefore, there are 2 quarter notes in a half note. How many quavers are in a semibreve? So quavers are 8th notes. How many 8th notes are in a semibreve? Okay, so 8 eighths make up 1. Therefore, there are 8 quavers or 8 8th notes in 1 whole note. Okay, how many quavers are in a crotchet? So crotchets are quarter notes. How many eighths are in a quarter? Okay, 2 eighths give me 1 quarter. Therefore, there are 2 quavers in 1 crotchet. How many quavers are in a minim? Okay, obviously this is going to be double. So a minim is a half note, okay, and a quaver is an eighth. Therefore, there are going to be 4 eighths to give me 1/2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those add up to give me that. Okay. It's now going to be the exact same for the rest. So remember, this is still 1. It's still a whole rest. It's still a half rest. It's still a quarter rest. And it's still an eighth rest. Okay, the difference is in music we don't make noise for this amount of time, whereas the notes we make noise for that amount of time. So how many minim rests are in a semibreve rest? Okay, so a minim is half of a semibreve, therefore 2 halves give me 1 whole. So there's going to be 2. How many crotchet rests are in a semibreve? Okay, so crotchet is a quarter. There are 4 quarters in this 1 whole. Crotchet rests in a minim. Okay, so minim is a half and we're dealing with quarters. So 2 quarters make up 1/2. How many quaver rests are in a crotchet? Okay, so quavers are eighths. Quavers are eighths and a crotchet is a fourth. Therefore, there are 2 quavers, 2 eighths in 1/4. How many quavers are in a minim rest? So how many eighth notes are in a half note? 4 eighths make up 1/2. Okay. How many quaver rests are in a semibreve? So just as 4 quavers make 1/2, okay, 2 halves make 1 whole. Therefore, there's going to be 8 quavers that make up 1 whole. All right. I went pretty fast. Oh gosh, I hope you guys saw that. Here's the answers over here. Okay. Right, next thing we discuss is a tie. So a tie is an arch that combines note values together. For example, 2 crotchet notes tied together make a rhythmic value equal to 1 quarter note. Okay, so 2 crotchets add together make 1 quarter note. Ties also work with other note values, for instance. So basically what a tie does is you take these 2 notes, okay, but you want to play them for the same amount of time. So instead of saying boom, boom, I want you to say boom. So you add them together. So by tying them, you're adding them together. So if I had a quarter note plus a quarter note, okay, that's going to give me 2/4. And if I simplify that, I'm going to get a half, right? And what's a half note? It's a minim. Okay. So what this does is it basically just adds them together in music. The other way we add notes together is with dots. Okay, so you guys know this. So a dot basically simplifies the half of the note that it comes after. So this dotted quarter note, okay, I'm going to draw it a bit bigger over here, okay, this is a dotted quarter note, okay, so a dotted quarter note has 1 quarter plus half of that, which is then an eighth. Therefore, if I write it in notes, it's a quarter note and an eighth note played together in one. So over here, you can see that this is a whole note and this is a half note. Therefore, this is half of this. So instead of doing this with a tie, I'm going to add it and use the dot to symbolize that. So if I break this up, I've got a semibreve or a whole note and a half note together. Okay, so for example, we've got a quarter note plus an eighth note plus a 16th note because it's got 2 flags, remember. So this divided in half is that. Therefore, this is half of this. Okay, so I'm going to add a dot to simplify this, right? And this 16th note is half of this. Okay, so instead of adding a tie, I'm going to add another dot. Does that make sense? So let's do the example together. So again, you guys would have had to do this for your assignment. So it says add up the following notes and rests and give your answers in note values. Follow the instructions. If I say give it to me in note values, I don't want to see rests. Okay, all of your answers are going to be in notes. So what I like to do is I like to write out the fraction just because it makes sense for me. Okay, so I know that this is a minim or it's a half note. Okay, and I know that this is a crotchet rest or a quarter rest. Okay, that's something you guys are going to have to study from the notes if you don't know it already. Okay, so a quarter is half of a half. Therefore, when I add this, I can make this into a dot. So I'm going to bring over my half note and I'm going to add the half to it by using a dot. Let's look at this little section over here. Okay, so this is an 8th note and these are 2 16th notes. Okay, so I'm going to put 2 16ths. Okay, so 2 16ths added together make 1/8. Because if you divide this by 2, it's going to give me 1, and you divide this by 2, it's going to give me 8. Therefore, I've got 2 8th notes. Okay, 2 8th notes added together. Okay, if I put a plus here, 2 8th notes added together give me 1/4. Because it's going to be 2 over 8, right? And I divide that into 2, and I'm going to get 4 to 1 over 4. So 1/8 plus 1/8 gives me 1/4. What is this rest? Okay, this is a half note rest. So now I have a half note plus half of that half note because a quarter is half of a half. So I'm going to write out my half note because it's the biggest note that I have, and then I'm going to add on the half of that using a dot. Let's look at this one. So this is a quarter note, okay? And this is the same as this. It's 1/8 plus 2 16ths. 2 16ths added together gives me 1/8. Okay, 2 8ths gives me 1/4. Okay, so 1/4 plus 1/4 gives me a half. How do I write a half? There's my half note. Okay, this one is way simpler. This is a quarter note, okay? And this is an 8th note. So I can see clearly that this is half of that. So I'm going to draw this note over and I'm going to add my dot because that's half. Okay. This is also a quarter note, but it's a rest. Okay. And this is also a quarter note. So 1/4 plus 1/4 gives me 1/2. And a half note looks like that. Or you can draw the stem up, it doesn't matter. Okay, let's have a look at this one. So this note over here is a quarter. Okay, this rest is a half. This note is an 1/8. So my biggest note over here is the half note. So I'm going to put that over here because it's the biggest one. I'm not going to use any of these, right? Biggest one. Now if you look over here, a quarter is half of a half. So I'm going to add my dot because that shows me half. And an 1/8 is a half of the quarter. So I'm going to add my second dot. Easy peasy. Okay, let's look over here. This is an 1/8 and this is an 1/8. Okay, 2 8ths give me 1/4. Okay, this is the same. So this is also going to be a quarter because I'm adding them together. And this is also a quarter note. Okay, so 2/4 gives me 1/2. Oh, sorry. This needs to be in rest notes. Okay, so I want 1/4 plus 1/4 gives me 1/2, and a half rest looks like this. Okay, but I've still got this one left. But now remember, a quarter is half of a half, so I'm going to pop a dot over there. Okay, this is the exact same as these. So I've got 1/16, 1/16, and 1/8. But remember, 1/16 plus 1/16 gives me 1/8, and 1/8 plus 1/8 gives me a quarter. And that is also a quarter. So 2/4 gives me a half, so I'm going to put a half rest. Same thing. It's the exact same, except instead of having the 2/16 first, I have them second. Can you see that? Okay, let's have a look over here. So this is a half and this is a quarter. So obviously a quarter is half of the half. So I'm going to bring over my half and I'm going to show the half of that with the dots. Okay, this is an eighth plus an eighth, which gives me a quarter, and this is also a quarter. Therefore, I have a half note rest. And this is the exact same. All right. Okay, let's move on. Time signatures. I know this is quite long because I'm literally going through everything. So if you guys need to pause and just digest, take a break, that's okay. Right, time signatures. So, time signatures is what tells us how many beats there are in a bar and which beat or which note takes a beat. Okay. So this is an example of how they're written. So now remember, the bottom number tells us which note takes the beat, and the top number tells us how many of that note is in the bar. Number of beats in a bar. Okay. So for example, if we go back to these notes over here, let me just find them. These ones here. Okay. So you can see all the different types of notes that I have, and you can see their quavers over here. Not their quavers, their fractions. So the bottom number over here tells us which note takes the beat. So immediately you can see that that's a 4, right? Then I want you to go to these notes and have a look which note has a 4. So the quarter note has a 4 in the base. Therefore we know which note takes a beat. It's going to be a quarter note. Okay, the number of beats is 4. Therefore, there's going to be 4 quarter notes per bar. So, for example, I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, let's have a look at this one. So, I see a 2. So immediately I'm going to go over here to my notes. I'm going to find the one that's got a 2. The half note has got a 2. Therefore, this is going to be the note that takes the beat. And there are 2 of those. So in each bar, there's going to be 2 half notes. Same thing here. I see there's an 8. So I'm going to go over here. Oh, look, there's an 8. Therefore, the 8th note takes the beat. And there's going to be 6 8 notes. So if I extend this, just because I can't fit it, I just want to show you what it's going to look like. So I'm going to have 1, 2, 3. I'm going to beam those together. And then I'm going to have 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to beam those together. So you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 6 eighth notes. And I've split them up. I've grouped them into groups of 3 because it's just easier to see. Okay. So now it goes on to speak about different types of time signatures. 2 4, 3 4, 4 4, 3 8, 6 8, 7 4. So you get all sorts of simple time, triple time, compound time, so on and so forth. I wouldn't worry too much about this. I would just I would focus on how to identify what each number means, how many beats are in a bar, and which note takes the beats. So let's look at some examples. So this is pretty much how you guys will be tested on this. So it says write a single note needed to complete each bar. So meaning you have to look at the time signature, figure out what you have already and what you need to fill up those beats. So I'll do the examples. So this is 2 4. So 4 tells me that the notes that take the beat is a quarter note, right? A quarter note, which is one of these. And this tells me that there are 2 quarter notes in the bar. Now what do I have? I have a quarter note. Therefore, I still need one more because there's 2 quarter notes in the bar. So all I do is fill in my quarter notes. Now in this instance, just try and use the same line or space. Doesn't really make a difference. Let's do the next one. Now remember, we only need 1 to complete it. So this is 4, 4. Okay, so I know that 4 means that I'm working with quarter notes, and the top 4 tells me there should be 4 in each bar. So there's a quarter note. Okay, these are 2 8s, and if you add them up, you get 1 quarter note. So I've got 2 quarter notes, and I'm still missing another 2 because there's 4. So what is one note that has 2 quarter notes? If you have a look over here, the half note is made up of 2 quarter notes. Therefore, I'm going to draw a half note. Let's look here. So bottom number is 4, therefore I'm dealing with quarter notes. Top number is 3, therefore I need 3 quarter notes. Okay, over here I have a dotted quarter note. So I know that this is made up of a quarter note, okay, plus half of the quarter note because of the dot, which is then an 8th note. So I have 1 1/2, okay, so I'm still missing another 1 1/2 because that'll be 3. 1, 2 plus 2 halves is 3. So what I'm going to do is add another dotted quarter note, because remember I can only write one note, and if I split this up, okay, I have a quarter note plus an 8th note. So there's 1, and these 2 add up to make 1 as well. Okay, let's do the next one. This is 4, 4. So I'm dealing with quarter notes once again, and I need 4 of them. Over here I have 1, so I'm missing 3. So I'm going to put in a dotted half note, because a dotted half note, here's a half note, it's made up of 2, okay? So there's 2 quarter notes, and then half of a half note is 1 quarter note, so that's 3 quarter notes. So 1, 2, 3 plus 4 gives me 4 quarter notes. Right, if you guys want to pause here and go and fill it in, you may do so, and then you can double check based on my answers. Okay. So, quarter notes, and I need 2 of them, so I'm going to add another 1. Okay, this is an 8, therefore I'm using 8th notes, and I need 2 of them. Here's 1, so I'm just going to add another 1. Okay. This is 2, 4, so I'm working with quarter notes, and I need 2 of them. Here's 1, and here's half of a quarter note. Therefore, all I need is another half. Okay. Working with quarter notes, and I need 6 of them. So here's 1. This is 2 quarter notes, because 2 quarter notes make up a half. So that's 3, so I'm missing 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a dotted minim or dotted half note, because within that is 3 quarter notes, Okay, this is 2, 2, so I'm working with half notes, remember, and here's 1, and this is a half, because 2 quarters make up 1 half, therefore I'm going to need another half. Okay, working with quarter notes again, and I need 3 of them. So now remember, a half note is made up of 2 quarter notes, and here's another quarter note. Therefore, I have 3 already, so I'm going to leave this open. Trick question. Okay, this is 6, 8. All right, so I'm working with 8th notes, which look like this, and I need 6 of them. And over here, I've got 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I need another 3, but remember, I can only write one note. So I'm going to write a dotted quarter note, because a dotted quarter note is made up of a quarter note and a half note, and if you break that down further, a quarter note is made up of 2 8th notes plus the half, which is another 8th note, so that gives me 3 8ths. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 2, 4. I'm working with quarter notes, and I need 2 of them. So this is a half of a quarter note, okay? So technically I need another half plus one of these. Therefore, I'm going to have a dotted quarter note. Okay, because that's then 1 and 2. This now says write in a single rest needed to complete each bar. So it's the exact same, except instead of drawing notes, I'm going to be drawing rests. Okay, so let's go through it. This is 6/8, so I'm working with 8 notes, eighth notes, and I need 6 of them. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, because that's made up of 2 eighth notes. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, so I need another 2. Okay, so 2 eighth notes added together is 1 quarter note. Okay, and a quarter note rest looks like this. Okay, now I need 4 quarter notes. Okay, so these 2 added give me 1 eighth note, and these 2 added give me 1 eighth note. Okay, and then those added give me 1 quarter note. So I've got 1, and I still need another 3. Therefore, I'm going to put in a dotted minim, but this has to be a rest, which I forgot, so that was my mistake. Okay, so I'm going to just change it into a rest, so it's going to look like that. You're going to put it on this line. Sorry, I hope you can see that. Okay, next one, 2, 4. So the 4 is then a quarter note, and I need 2 of them. Here's 1, here's a half, so I'm going to add a half, but in rests. Okay, 3, 4. Working with quarter notes once again, but I need 3 of them. Here's 1, here's 2. That's a half of a 1, okay, because that's an eighth note, so I need another eighth note, which makes up the third one. Okay, 4, 4. I need 4 quarter notes. I have a half, okay, so technically I need a half plus another 2 of these. Okay, so how am I going? Sorry guys, my video cut off. Okay, so 4, 4, I need 4 quarter notes, and I have an eighth note, so I need to add an eighth note. That gives me 1 quarter note plus another 3, which gives me 4. So I'm going to draw a half note, which is 2, plus half of that, which gives me 3, okay, plus another half of the half quarter note, which gives me 4. Right, here I need 3 quarter notes. Here's 1, and here's a half of a 1. So I'm going to do, remember this is in rests, so it's going to look like that. Okay, so over here I've got 1 and a half, so I need another 1 and a half, okay, which is going to look like that, but I'm doing it in rests. Okay, I need 4 4s. So this technically is like this, so I need 1 more. I'm just going to do it like that. Oopsie, I keep forgetting it's in rests. Okay, I need 2 eighth notes, so this is a 16th. Okay, so I still need another 16th, which makes up 1/8 plus another 1/8. Okay, so I'm going to do an eighth note rest plus a dot. Okay, this is 6 quarter notes. Okay, so a semi-breve or a whole note is made up of 4 quarter notes. Okay, I still need another 2, so I'm going to do a minim rest because that's made up of 2. Okay, 3 4. I need 3 quarter notes. Okay, a minim or a half note is made up of 2 quarter notes, right? So I'm missing 1 quarter note. And if it's going to be in a rest, it's going to look like that. Okay, 2 4, so I need 2 quarter notes. Okay, 2 of these. This is a 16th. Okay, so I need to add another 16th to give me an 8th. Okay, which looks like that. All right, then onto that I need another 8th. Okay, so that then makes up 1. Okay, so let's recap. I need 2 quarter notes. Okay, I have a 16th, so I'm going to add another 16th to it, which would give me an 8th. Then I'm going to add another 8th. Those together make a quarter plus a quarter. Then I have 2 quarters. Okay, so how do we draw this? We're going to draw our quarter note rest. we're going to add a dot to show our quaver and another dot to show our semiquaver. Okay, and then last one is 4/4, so I need 4 of these. And if we break this down, we've got a quarter note and then the dot, which is half of that. Okay, and then the same thing, we've got a quarter note plus a half note, an eighth note, sorry. So that's 1, 2, and this is a half, and this is a half. So technically I have 1, 2, 3 quarter notes, so all I'm missing is a 4th one. Okay, I know I went through that super quick, but if you understand this concept, it's just going to take you a bit of time to break it down, and then you'll be able to just add it up. Okay, right. So next up we have key signatures. So key signatures we did last term. Okay, so you can go through these notes just to give yourself a refresher. And then here is Mr. Smith's rhymes that he uses for the sharps and then for the flats. If that works for you, you do that. Otherwise, you follow the rhyme that I taught you guys. So I'm going to go over that one just because that's my preferred method. Okay, so key signatures, remember, we have got for the sharps, we have Father Charles goes down and ends battle. Okay, for the flats, we have battle, ends, and down goes Charles's father. Now remember I said to you that C is your home ground. You always find C. So here's C, C is neutral. Here is C, C is neutral. Okay, so C, now we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up top 6 sharp, 7 sharp. Okay, same thing here, 0, 1, but now we're working with flats. So we go up top 2 flat, 3 flat, 4 flat, 5 flat, 6 flat, and 7 flat. Okay, so this is the rhyme that we use to tell us our key signatures, what has sharps, what has flats, and how many flats. This is also the order of the sharps or flats. Okay, you're going to see what I mean in just a sec. So if we go over to an example of how this is going to be tested, it's going to say, identify the following key signature. Okay, so if we have a look at this first one over here, we can see that there is nothing here. So now remember, C is neutral. I'm just going to fold this so you guys can see. So C is neutral. So I'm going to find my C. Remember, this is C over here. Okay. This is C over here. Okay. This is something else over here. Okay, so C is neutral, C has 0. Therefore, this is C major. Now, very important, we only work with majors this year. If you do not write major, it is wrong. Okay, if you just put C, you're getting a big cross. You need to say major. Okay, next one. So, you can see that this has flats, right? So now what you're going to do is you're going to count the number of flats. So here there is 1, 2, 3, 4 flats. So I'm going to go to my flat rhyme and I'm going to find the letter that has a 4 above it. So I can go across here. Here is A flat. It's got the number 4. Therefore, this is A flat major. Okay. Obviously, I can't have A major or A sharp or whatever because there's flats here. It can only be flat. Okay. Let's do the third one. This has got sharps. Okay, so I'm going to go to my sharp over here. How many sharps are there? 1, 2. So I'm now going to go and find the letter that has the 2. There is D. It's got a 2. Therefore, the answer is D major. Okay, once again, I'd say pause the video, go and fill this out. just for your own practice. If you guys can do all of these on your own, then you really are sorted for your exam. So pause it now, fill it out on your own. Okay, you have this on Teams, and then come back and we'll do it together. All right. Okay, so next one. This is sharp, so I'm going to look at my sharp rhyme, okay? And there are 1, 2, 3 sharps. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to have a look for the number 3. Here's A. It's got a 3 next to it. Therefore, this is A major. Okay. Next one has got 2 flats. Here is number 2. But remember, it's got a flat sound. Therefore, it is B flat major. Okay, let's look at the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 sharps. So I'm going to go to my sharp rhyme. Okay. Here is the number 6 right here. F sharp. Okay. F sharp major. Now, how do I know that this is B flat major, not B major? Well, B over here is for the sharps, and it doesn't have a sign at the top. Whereas B flat is over here for the flats. It's got the 2. How do I know that this is F sharp major and not just F? Can you see how, first of all, this is 6 sharps and this has got the number 6 by it, and second of all, it's got the sharp symbol at the top. This one has no sharp symbol and it's got the number at the bottom, therefore it's just F. This is just E because it doesn't have a symbol at the top. This is E flat because it's got that symbol. Okay, next one. 1, 2, 3 flats. I'm going to go to the flat rhyme. Here's my 3, E flat major. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 sharps. Go to the sharp. There we go. E has a 4 next to it, therefore it is E major. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 flats. G flat major. This has got 1 sharp, so I'm going to go to the sharp sound. Is there a 1? There we go. G major. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sharps. Find the 5. E major. Hang on. Sorry, B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The B has got the 5 next to it, therefore it is B major. Okay. Here's 1 flat. I'm going to go to the flat. What has the number 1? F does. Therefore the answer is F major. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. What is 7 sharps? C sharp. Can you see how the C sharp has got the 7? C sharp major. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flats. What has 5 flats? D flat major. Okay. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 flats. What has 7 flats? C flat major. Okay, cool. You guys should know that from last term anyways. Okay. Last thing is the music terms. So you guys have this in the folder. It's on page 49. So basically what these are is different terms that tell your musician how to play things. Okay, so for example, I have a piece of sheet music in front of me. Okay, and above it says it's got the double P. I know that that stands for pianissimo, and it's telling me that I have to play that section very soft. Okay, so that's what these are. You need to learn this page off by heart. You need to be able to understand the meaning of it, the symbol, and what the full word is for it. Okay, so page 49 you need to study. All right, so just to recap for you guys, I'm going to type this out. Okay, so the things you need to focus on is identifying notes and note names. Okay, you need to be able to write them out and identify them. You need to understand intervals and semitones. You need to be able to identify semitones as well as intervals. Okay, you need to understand notes and rest values and understand what they're made up and how they're broken down. Okay, you need to understand time signatures and be able to complete a bar. You need to know your key signatures and be able to write out your key signatures and identify your key signatures. And lastly, you need to know all of these music terms. Okay, I really hope that this was helpful to you guys. And if you have any questions, please just let me know and I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. Okay, love you all. Good luck for your exam. And I'm thinking of you all. Okay, bye.